For you boys, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell if you're a diehard Knicks fan. Tonight's episode, we are continuing the season preview series with our player expectations. Last Sunday, we did RJ, Alec Burks, Nerlens Noel. Tonight's episode, we're going to talk about Derrick Rose, Obi Toppin, and one Luca Vildoza, and where he fits into the equation. Plus, we got a lot of odds and ends Knicks news and updates for you guys. So let's lock in tonight's panel. We got the team back. We got JD Sports Talk, Alex Rataris, Stratocaster, Chip Murphy. What's good, fellas? How we feeling tonight, man?
Feeling great, CP.
Yeah, rainy day over here in the Northeast, man. But we got 34 days until Knicks basketball is coming around the corner, hot and heavy. So let's kick things off, man. Let's start these player expectations. Let's talk about Obi, because I think, from recent memory, we see Obi. He came in hot in Summer League, first team All Summer League, put some respect on his name. But the rookie campaign just wasn't there for him. 4 points, I think 2 rebounds in 11 minutes for Obi, 50% from the field, 30% from three. Alex, I'll start with you, man. What are you thinking about in terms of Obi Toppin this season, his role and his expectations?
I think for his role coming into this season, we just want to see him be a good substitution for Julius Randle when he comes off the bench, right? Get a good 15, 20 minutes to give Randle that type of relaxation that he needs, because we know we're going to need Randle for the long haul, all 82 games plus the playoffs. So if Obi can give us something good off the bench, that would be awesome. But the thing that I really want to see from Obi this season is really seeing him get out in transition. And I think bringing everyone back, especially Derrick Rose, you got Alec Burks back as well, and keeping Emmanuel quickly, Obi Toppin, and even adding Nerlens Noel on that for that second unit, I think it gives him some flexibility to get out and run, right? Because when we saw once Derrick Rose came, especially during that Miami Heat game, it's just so vivid. D Rose was able to find Obi Toppin in transition, get him those easy looks, and that's what we just want to see out of him moving forward. He ended the season on a strong note too. We saw him in the playoffs really start to get in rhythm, really start to find his groove, and have those electric moments, especially that dunk that just got the entire Garden rocking, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So for him, man, it's just coming off the bench and really being that key role player at this point. We know that he was supposed to come in, and everyone thought he was going to be that power forward because Julius Randle was on the hot seat then and was supposed to get out. But as of right now, if he can just be a role player, that would just be key for what this team can need. And seeing him do more, seeing him get more comfortable taking pull-up threes, which we saw during Summer League, getting better, more face-up looks, whether it's the mid-range game, and just finishing in transition. Those are really big things. And even just rebounding. If he could just rebound as Derrick Rose, got him motivated to it, even if he's not feeling on offense, if he can grab important boards for us and just keep the offensive possession, or just get the defensive board and get us back on offense, and just leak out, so that way he can get the easy transition buckets. That's exactly what I want to see from Obi Toppin.
Good points, Chip. What are you thinking in terms of Obi, his role and expectations this season?
Yeah, I agree with everything Alex said, but I also think Obi needs to figure out a way to carve some minutes into playing with Julius Randle. I know it's a long shot, but we've said it before, or everybody said it. Julius Randle led the league in minutes last year. And he's
37 minutes a game.
37.6, yeah. And he's going to be in the top 3, top 5 next year. His minutes aren't going to go that far down. I know the Knicks added talent, so his load won't be as much offensively, but he's going to play a ton of minutes again. So there's not going to be a lot of power forward minutes for Obi to get. And I don't think they're going to want to slide Randle to the small ball 5, because he already has to take on so much on offense.
Right.
So if Obi can prove anything as a small ball 5 defensively to Tibbs, I know Tibbs doesn't really like to do that, but I think that's a good route for him to try and get minutes. I just feel like the way to do it is you got to play. I know Alex, I agree with Alex, to bring him off the bench obviously is the way to go and to become a solid role player, but I think getting him minutes with the starters like Kemba and Fournier, because that would be a way to get him buckets to run. Fournier plays really well in transition.
Yeah.
You can pull up, and he's really smart, makes smart passes in transition, can shoot the three in transition. So Obi would play well with him. Obviously, anybody would play well with someone like Kemba Walker in transition. And then we saw what he did with Miles McBride in Summer League. So I think getting him minutes with guys like Kemba and Fournier, the new guys, and of course we saw what he did with Rose last year. I think an amplified version of last year like that with Rose and Quickly. But I just think he needs to play more up tempo. We didn't see him enough in the fast break last year, and that's what he did best in college.
Facts.
I mean, like he was so good at that. Like how many transition when we were scouting him, when we were first drafting him, how many fast break dunks did we see him do at Dayton?
Yeah.
It was crazy. And then we didn't see a lot of that last year, to not much his fault. I mean, he didn't have a lot of opportunities to do it. But we need to see him get out more in the open court. That's what we really need to see. And I think playing with Kemba and Fournier can help that.
Yeah, good points, man. JD, where do you weigh in on the Obi situation?
Well, it's definitely a situation because it's going to be an interesting year. I think we're gonna find out a lot about not only him as a player, but what is the next step in terms of how the organization sees his future with the team. The way that they use him, they utilize him, the minutes distribution. I think we're going to find out a lot because this is not a player that's, going into this sophomore year at 21 years old. He's 23. He's going to turn 24 during the season, right? And he's going into year 2 of his rookie contract with a power forward in front of him, of which the organization made a decision in investing into him. There was also a report that I saw from Hoops Hype where they reported that Nerlens Noel was told by the Knicks that he will be giving a fair shot. He wasn't guaranteed the starting center position, but they're going to give him a shot to compete for it. And also, at the very least, he was told that he's going to get significant minutes in terms of he's going to be part of the rotation. So when we start to look forward into minutes distribution, as Chip said, potentially playing him with Randall, if Noel's going to get, consistent minutes, Mitch Robinson is with the team. He's in a contract year, so the organization is going to give him a chance. And then you have Randall playing 30-plus minutes. Where does that leave Obi? So, in last season, his career, his season high was 13 points.
Yeah.
And that didn't come to game 4 of the playoffs.
Right.
He only played 2 games all of last year in the season of 20 minutes or more. And one of those games was 26 minutes when we lost 119-93 to the Spurs in a blowout.
Garbage time.
And the first game where he's played over 20 minutes was the season opener.
Right.
So, when you start to look at the future, I think he's going to need to get at least 18 minutes, 20 minutes, but where do you find those minutes?
Yeah.
In terms of his performance, I was encouraged by his offensive improvement in Summer League. He shot 34% in Summer League. That's a tick up from where he shot last season.
From 3, right? From 3?
From 3.
Yeah.
He shot 34 from 3. He shot 45% overall from the field goal, and in terms of the Summer League. That's a tick up. Now, hopefully that translates into the season because, as you see, it looks like the organization wants to kind of, I don't know if develop him into a stretch 4, but it looks like he's going to need to at least have that 3-point shot locked down. And in terms of from a business standpoint, let's see what happens. I mean, Obi's from New York. I understand the hometown story, but CP, this is a business and he's under a rookie contract. Everybody wants to get paid. And if he doesn't get a fair opportunity, you just have to wonder behind the scenes, what is the next step? In terms of him getting a fair opportunity, because he's a lottery pick. And I'm pretty sure he wants to get a fair opportunity to prove that at the very least he could be a high minutes rotational player or in the future an NBA starter.
That's a good point. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Leave some comments in the chat. What are your expectations, your thoughts on Obi Toppin going into year 2? I thought you guys all made great points. I think, Alex, to your point, I think the upgrade in talent overall in the roster is only going to help him, right? We saw what the chemistry that he and D Rose had immediately as soon as the D Rose trade was made. Their first play together was a pick and roll against Miami. Then we see him getting out there in transition. I think, is there opportunities where is Julius the first one on the bench, and then you go with a lineup of Kemba, Fournier, RJ, Obi, and Mitch? Then you have three guys that can start the break in Kemba, RJ, Fournier, get out in transition. RJ, another player that's excellent in transition. Now you have him with Fournier, with Obi. Now you're running and gunning. Kemba throwing it ahead. I think that would be pretty lethal. That was transition. I think, if they can figure out, I don't think you'll see that small ball lineup consistently. Maybe it comes once you get into the dog days of the season, and do they consider tapering some of Randall's minutes or monitoring some of those minutes as the season progresses, especially on the second half of back-to-backs? Do you get Obi in there? Does he get his 18 minutes there in those opportunities? But I mean, if you find some windows to get those two in there together, man, the spacing would be incredible, and the two of them would benefit greatly off of that. We know Obi already playing that at the small ball 5 at Dayton and in Summer League. You see how he's able to operate in the open court with spacing, and it would benefit Julius as well. It would benefit RJ as well in terms of just being able to have that room to attack the basket, and then you have nothing but three-point shooters around you. I think that would be great, but having Kemba, Fournier, and RJ already with Julius, I think Tibbs just goes with the rim protector and figures that he has enough offense and just goes, counts on those four to be, the guys that you put the offense on. So I just don't know where his window is going to be in terms of sharing the court with Julius. But I think at the very least, 4-2 last year, I think he should be able to get up to, say, 8 points, 4 rebounds. Can he get to 35% from three? And like I said, having consistent playmakers with him at all times, whether it's Derrick Rose or Kemba, Fournier, RJ, I think that's, Burks, I think that's only gonna help him in terms of getting his numbers up. And just the confidence that you saw at Summer League, man. I just love the plays, the actions that they were running for him, getting a mid-range shots. A three-point shot looked a lot better all in the post, better facing up. And yes, that was Summer League competition, but I think him going up against second unit defenses, those opportunities are going to be there next season as well against certain teams. He's going to have situations where he's going to be able to win. And so I think that'll bode well for him. So I think he could probably double his output from his rookie season. And then we'll just have to see, man, do they put him in there small ball? I don't think Tibbs does it, but you never know. You never know, man.
Just to add on to the small ball portion of it, I mean, there were only 8 possessions, according to Quinn in the Glass, where you had Obi Toppin playing small ball 5. Only 8 with a differential of with a negative differential of negative 51.8. So, and it was mostly with, Linus. He had Emmanuel Quickly, Reggie Bullock, RJ Barrett, Kevin Knox, Obi Toppin. That was the one where he had that was the most where they had possessions together, which was only 3. So Tibbs I don't see Tibbs just going that all in on offense. A small ball 5. Yeah, and all offense. I think he values rim protection way too much. I mean, there were opportunities where we saw we could have had more offense. He had opportunities where he had Julius Randle. He even had Randle out there playing small ball 5 for portions of the season last year, more so than he did Obi Toppin. So if he really wanted all that offense, he could have. He chose not to because I think Tibbs values rim protection more so than anything else. And I think if we have a healthy Mitchell Robinson and Nerlens Noel, I just find it very hard to believe that Tom Thibodeau is going to go all out offense and give up on defense, especially when defense is his calling card.
Yeah, and also a healthy Taj Gibson.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that too.
Mm-hmm. And you were talking about the rim protection, CP. It's that's why I think it's going to be interesting as we look into the season. Does Tom Thibodeau as a coach, does he install more flexibility into his system, into hits, his minutes distribution and the offensive system. Does he do that, or does he double down on his format? Because if anything, you can make the case, last season he had Elfrid Payton out there and never made changes, and he stuck with his plan.
Stuck with it.
This season, they're quote unquote, people say they're a little weaker in the perimeter. So if that's the case, then you would think that maybe Thibodeau actually doubles down on making sure that he has 48 minutes of rim protection,
100%.
making sure that he always has a center at the 5, whether it's Noel, whether it's Mitch, whether it's Taj, to provide that defense at the paint. So again, then where would that leave Obi? I think, he averaged 11 minutes per game of the season. He went up to 13 in the playoffs. I think the target probably, I would hope, is 17, 18 minutes. You got to be a little creative because, if with the Knicks having more offensive weapons, maybe, Randall comes down 3-4 minutes,
right,
and, and somebody else comes down 3-4 minutes, and you kind of give those minutes to Obi, you get him up to 17. And listen, it's an 82 game season. So there's going to be, I don't know that Randall's going to play 82 games. He's going to get an opportunity one of these games to either start because of an injury or, something happens. He has to make sure that he maximizes every single opportunity that he gets, at least to either raise his value or to increase his equity with the coaching staff and with the organization. But it's going to be interesting, what this organization, what their plans are for him, because it's either you're going to make the decision to develop him, and as we discussed, a 5, right, into a 5, because again, Mitchell Robinson, what happens with him? So that's why I think it's going to be interesting to see early how they manage Obi. We may get a signal into what the organization foresees for his future.
Yeah, it's a logjam, man. No, there's no way around it. There's no way around it. I've been saying it since last year. But, it is what it is. He's on the team. You hope he contributes. And I think he can, just being a high flyer, stat guy. And just as you said, just maximizes his minutes. So let's see what happens with Obi there. So to everybody in the chat, once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. We'll take calls. We'll take calls in a little bit, in a couple minutes after we run through the player expectations. And phone number to call in is 657-383-1509. You could also call us up on the KnicksFanTV Discord. We're talking player expectations, Obi Toppin. Now let's talk about one Luca Vildoza, because Vildoza was a late addition last year. Picked him up off the scrap heap, or not really off the scrap heap, but just really just through the international scene, man. Just picked him up, 4-year deal in which the first year was guaranteed, and then you had the 3 years of a partial guarantee. A lot of fans were expecting to see Vildoza, or hoping to see him play well in the Olympics, coming through summer league, and you have fans in the beginning, before this Kemba stuff came on and McBride got drafted, you had fans saying, we got our point guard of the future, what are we talking about? You had fans jumping out the window. Vildoza High was forming quite quickly, and how quickly things changed, because after a lackluster Olympics, a terrible summer league in which he got hurt, and then, a McBride rising up the ranks and on the scene. Then you bring in Kemba. I don't know, Chip, man. What are you thinking is Vildoza's role next year, bro?
Yeah, I'm not even sure his role is to be on the team next year. Because
real talk, man.
That may sound cold, but his contract's not guaranteed until the day after game 1. So he may not make the team. And you talked about McBride. McBride was really good in summer league, man. And if he gets outplayed again in preseason by McBride, he could get cut. And I know that would be an ice cold move, but the NBA is a business, and
it's a business.
Wouldn't surprise me at all. It really wouldn't. Yeah. So I think that could end up being what happens.
I'm wondering if the last roster spot comes down between him and Bacon. I'm wondering. I think Kev is safe for now. I don't know. I just don't see them getting rid of Kev. The Kentucky connection. I think they're going to keep Kev around. I think, but at the same time, they pay the bidding fee for Vildoza. Then you still have some partially guaranteed money there. Do they just get rid of him? I don't know.
But don't they save money if they cut Vildoza? I feel like they do save some amount of money, right? I know that he makes $3 million a year.
Yeah.
But I think they save even more than that if they do cut him.
If
And
they
I
cut
know,
him.
Bacon makes less than $3 million.
I know
So-
there was talk about them potentially creating additional cap space at the time that they had
Yes.
like verbal commitments with some of these
they could have
guys.
saved that 3.
And I'm not sure that's still the case now that they've signed these guys. But yeah, they may be able to. With Luca, man, man, there was so much hype.
Oh yeah, Prigioni. He was the next Prigioni.
How quickly they have fallen, man.
Yo,
I love Prigioni.
Cardi in the
man,
chat
but-
said Vildoza is going to bring the guys water next season.
Oh man,
It's cold
I'll say-
blooded.
blooded.
You know,
Got it.
I'll say this. I think, although his contract is not guaranteed, which there's no commitments per se, but they did pay the fee, so they technically have made an investment already in him. So I think for that, at least for that sole reason, and for the Olympics and everything that happened, he was hurt. He had an injury here in summer league. There's no rush, so I think you give him a fair shot in preseason, and you give him heavy minutes there, and you see how he plays. In terms of what we actually saw, again, I don't know if he was hurt during the games that he played. I know he was dealing with heavy jet lag. He had an interview that you posted on the channel. One of the things that I didn't like about that interview is he didn't seem very confident.
He was like scared of me. I was like, bro, relax, man. I'm just here representing the people, fam. It's all right, man. No.
He was killing himself. He was like, I'm not a good defender right
himself,
now.
bro.
I'm like, bro.
I said in my head, bro. I was like, yo, don't say that, bro.
Yeah.
It's like,
defense
this is the
supposed to be his
wrong
thing?
market to say.
Yeah.
This is the wrong market to say you don't play defense.
Yeah, that's supposed to be
Don't
his
tell me
thing
that.
too. I thought.
I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that, Vildoza. But go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know what that was about. I mean, listen, you have a player coming from a different country, and there's some people that they're just very blunt. They're very honest. It's not necessarily a bad thing. And you could tell in that interview he felt some pressure. There was some fatigue there. So I would like to give him a clean slate just to see. Listen, when they signed him. And I know everybody's has turned kind of their opinions on him. And I know part of that is because we already know, we have Kemba.
Yeah.
Rose was re-signed, right? McBride showed signs. We have Quickly coming back. So the perception of the point guard situation has completely changed after he was signed. When he was signed and we had no idea where this was going at that position, there was a lot more optimism about him. But now things have changed. They looked pretty solid at that position. And I'll tell you what, even if he has a solid preseason, where is he going to get minutes?
Yeah, he's not playing.
Yeah.
He's not playing. But for me, Al, I would just keep him. You keep him here. Kemba and Rose are temporary options, and you keep him. You bring him up in the system and see what happens. How old is he? He's about 25, Vildoza, if I'm not mistaken.
He's
Yeah,
about
he's 25.
25.
Yeah, he's about 25. And you see between him, McBride, IQ, what the future holds. I would just leave him on the team. He's not going to play, but I would just keep him on the team.
Yeah, at this point, you're gaining nothing, and you gain nothing either way, whether you cut him or you lose him. And at that point, it's between him and Bacon, as you pointed out. I'd rather, I guess, keep Vildoza, see what you have. He's still like an interesting player that we still haven't really gotten a full grasp of what he can do. I think he was injured. Honestly, I believe that he was injured when he was playing in the Olympics. And I think coming over, being jet lagged, then having to be interviewed by you and everyone else, I think he was a little intimidating. Just like the lights are on him very quick, and being Knicks fans, hungry for the next point guard. Yeah. Any inkling of hearing like the name point guard, was like, this is the guy, this is the guy, this is the guy. So he probably just went on Twitter and just saw everyone just talk about like, oh my God, we got the next guy. So
yeah.
I don't know. I think for him though, like you saw, like even during the interview, like he appeared content. Like just even when even responding to saying just him being happy to have the opportunity to play or like try out to be in the NBA for the Knicks and play for the Knicks, that he's going to try and work hard and show himself and how he can improve every day just to get better. It didn't really give me, and I don't think it really gave a lot of people, confidence in him to see that, okay, he has confidence in himself, that he will go out there and just perform at a high level. He had like a flash here or there in summer league, but to be fair, if looking at the Knicks organization, like who are they really going to invest in? The draft picks or a guy that they picked up, just during the middle, getting close to the end of the regular season, going into the postseason? Maybe we all thought it was for insurance, but maybe they just wanted to get a head start in the game, bring this guy in, see who he is, have him on the roster. That way no one else can take him, because it seemed like there may have been a little bit of like a buzz. There potentially was some buzz around his name, just how he performed. Who was he playing in Spain? I believe he was playing in Spain, playing for Barcelona, right? So
Basconia.
they probably just, okay. So then they just wanted to get a head start on him and just see. But if I'm the Knicks, like, I'm looking at my draft picks, like I'm looking at Deuce McBride, like as saying, hey, I'm going to make the investment in Deuce McBride. I have Emmanuel Quickley here. He's my investment. I already know I got two guards, as you guys already pointed out, Derrick Rose and Kemba Walker. So, if he shows anything during preseason, I think it's just a competition between him and Bacon, as you already pointed out, CP. Yeah. But we'll see. He has to come with more aggression than just being happy for the opportunity. If you're getting my opinion,
that's a fact. It was a 4-year, $13.6 million deal. Only 1 year was guaranteed. The remaining 3 years are partial guarantees. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, and I mean, I will say this. His last two teams that he played, he shot 37.5% from three and 35% from three. And in that interview, he did say that one of the things he was disappointed about was he felt that he missed some shots that he normally makes. So when a player says that, they understand their strengths and weaknesses. And when I combine the actual statistical data to what he said, maybe he, in summer league, he also missed a lot of, not a lot, but he missed some of his open shots. Yeah. So I want to see if in a preseason with him a little bit, fully healthy, you would hope, if some of that 35% translate into the NBA. Also, because his contract could become an asset for you. I know when I was doing some stuff with Sports Wives TV on him, we found that the Knicks weren't the only team interested in him. So he's not a guy that's just come out of nowhere. Other NBA teams have scouted him. So if, you kind of see him play well, whether it's in preseason, maybe he becomes a future trade piece that you can put in a package. The team that would get him, is not taking on a lot of money. Yeah. I think at this point, that's probably your ceiling with him, is kind of build him up a little bit. Trade maybe you keep him and you can put him in a package in the future.
Good points, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Luca Vildoza. Is there a member of the Vildoza Hive even in the chat, man? Do not hide. Please make yourself known. This is a judgment-free zone. If you're still with the Vildoza Hive, man, just let it be known. We'll shout you guys out in the chat. And man, just have some faith for your boy Vildoza. Also, as you guys know, tonight's show and all KnicksFanTV live shows are presented by Manscaped, the #1 men's grooming tool below the waist. Fellas, go out and get that new Lawnmower 4.0. This is it right here. Somebody in the chat said we were late because I lost some power during the storm and I had to use the Lawnmower 4.0. It's a flashlight to navigate and get the system back activated. So that was a good point by Jamal in the chat. So this is the LED light. It's a spotlight, great custom ceramic blade technology, skin safe technology to cut down on those accidents, fellas, if you know what I mean. Waterproof as well. Great battery life. You can charge it up wirelessly or on a corded charger as well. So great deal on Lawnmower 4.0, and you can go to manscaped.com and enter promo code KFTV. The promo code has changed. It's no longer Knicks. It's KFTV. Go to manscaped.com, enter promo code KFTV for 20% off plus free shipping. And as I said, we ship to the US, UK, Europe, Singapore, Australia, South Africa as well. So make sure you guys go out and get it today. All right. So we went through.
Looks like nobody wants to tell the truth
Yeah.
other than
Yeah.
Geraldine.
Is there anybody? Geraldine stood up.
Yeah, it says he's a Luca fan.
Daniel
Somebody
Mejia says
wrote.
he's the best
Somebody
Luke in the
wrote
NBA.
Luca Hive better than the Frank Hive.
Okay. Oh, they're coming out now. Lloyd Barker Jr. checking in. Let's go.
There we go. There we go. Somebody said it's not a hive, it's a nest.
Melvin Lopez says Luca will be a maestro. All right, so they're stepping up in the chat, man. I think they might have come here to hear about Vildoza than Rose more so. You know, Lloyd Barker Rocks, he's Vildoza Hive heavy. Okay. If you guys are new in the chat, man, type in hashtag new in the chat as well. We'll shout you guys out. And like I said, phone lines are up 657-383-1509 if you guys want to call in with your takes on Toppin, Vildoza, Rose, or anything Nick related. We'll get to it after we wrap up. D Rose. And D Rose, fellas, to me, the X factor, the glue that really put this whole thing together in terms of this team getting that fourth seed and getting to the playoffs. I mean, he was nothing short of excellent when he got to this team. He was the point guard that we sorely needed. He was instrumental in that 9-game winning streak. I mean, so many games that, you know, he really won for us. You know, the game against the Pelicans at home where he took it into overtime with the pass to Bullock, the key block on Eric Bledsoe, the game in Memphis, even in the loss to the Laker game. I mean, so many games, you know, D Rose was just great for us and just the spark plug that we needed to really get to the playoffs. And now he's back. 3-year deal. I believe it was close to $40 million, 2 of which was a full guarantee and a team option there. Al, I'll start with you, man. What are your expectations for Derrick Rose going into the next season?
My expectation is for him to do exactly the same thing that he did this past season. You know, give us that 15 points, 4 assists, 3 rebounds per game. You know, maybe the 3-point shooting, even though it's not high volume, it was 2.6 or 2.5 attempts, you know, that he had on average, but shooting 41% from behind the arc. That's what I need. That's what we need from him. We need him to bring the lightning to the thunder that will be the offense. You know, that's essentially what that second unit was. They were fast. They played with power. They were one of the top second units in the NBA. It was because of him, right? Yeah. Once he came to this team and we inserted him, we can talk about what he did for Obi Toppin, but what he did for Emmanuel Quickley was just as beneficial. He allowed Emmanuel Quickley to play off ball. He allowed Emmanuel Quickley to be that shooter that he can be and to give us the points that we needed. So, and on top of that, he's also good at he's a way better facilitator now than he was when he was young D Rose and just being electric, being just aggressive, attacking the rim, just slamming it down all the time, looking like he was about to break a backboard. So I like what he brings now, and he still has that craftiness to his game. We don't need him to be the starter, to be the savior, but what we do need from him is to also be that role model as well that he was for Obi Toppin and Emmanuel Quickley. And hopefully he can do that for Quentin Grimes and Deuce McBride as well. So Derrick Rose, there's not much I'm expecting out of him just to maintain the same numbers. Sure, they may take a slight dip, they may take a slight bump, but as long as he could maintain the same statistics that he did last season and just bring the same presence that he had, we'll be so good for this season. The second unit, everyone just enjoy the second unit, and I'm looking forward to watching the second unit again.
Yeah, for sure. JD, your thoughts on D Rose? 14 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists on almost 50% shooting last year, man. What's your thoughts on D Rose in his second tour with the Knicks, second season of the second tour?
I mean, I was ecstatic that we re-signed him. You know, when we had our free agency show, you know, and we were talking about take him or dump him, what players we would re-sign, what players we would not. Rose was one of the guys that I was emphatic about re-signing, and one of the reasons was, you know, in terms of sustaining, you know, we're talking about building a culture, building a sustainable winner, and I know he's not maybe on the timeline of being with us for 5 to 10 years, but at least for the next few, he produced winning basketball. The Knicks were 17-20 without Rose. They were 24-11 with him. So when Derrick Rose played, the Knicks won games. and the Knicks averaged 110 and a half points per game in games that he played. They shot 41% from three in games that he played. They shot more 3-point attempts when he played than when he didn't. And a lot of that was because his ability to get to the basket, get a hockey assist, move the ball around the court when he gets to the basket. And so I was, very excited about having him back with the team. And he played well on the road last year. He shot 44% from three on the road, and he scored more points. And, in terms of projecting into this season in the playoffs, Rose played statistically better on the road than he did at home. I mentioned when we were previewing the playoffs with the matchup with the Hawks, how I said that when you get to the playoffs, usually role players, they don't play as well on the road as they do at home.
Right.
And you need some of the other big time players to come through. And Derrick Rose is an ingredient to winning playoff games. And we saw him do that in the playoffs when we needed someone else. He gave us the best that he could. He averaged 19 points per game, shot over 40% from three. It wasn't enough, but it wasn't his fault. And so, I'm excited to have him here. In terms of potential concerns, he's played 12 seasons and only 4 seasons. He played over 65 games per year. So out of 12 years, only 4 games, which tells me that someone else is going to get an opportunity. He's 32 years old now. I know that's not really old for a player, but he has a lot of miles on
mileage.
He has a lot of mileage. So for him, he's not the same 32 as your, another 32-year-old player. And his defense, Derrick Rose played great last year. His defense wasn't great. And as you get older, it doesn't mean that your defense is going to get better.
It's not going to get better.
Sometimes you lose a little bit of lateral quickness. So those are some things that are just concerns for me. But overall, when he came in, the bench took off.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of debate about should he have even been a starter over Elfrid Payton because of how he kept the bench intact and everybody else was playing their role. So him being able to provide that to us is going to be very instrumental and is one of the main reasons why I project us to be a potentially 50-win team.
Oh, you see how he snuck that in there?
I had to say it quick,
See how he snuck that
There's
in
still
there?
time.
There's
nice.
still
time for me to,
man.
right now.
Right
now I'm going 50.
That was nice, man. He jumped out the window real quietly on us, fellas, but then just threw that quick
Also said
50 bar.
potentially, too.
Yeah, and he said
A lot
potentially.
of a lot of qualifiers in this statement. I like it.
Because it's funny because I said 51. I'm on record as saying I went 49, then I went 51. But as we're doing the shows, it's like a lot of these players, man. There's like a lot of players that couldn't miss games. So I'm like, man,
100%.
You got Kemba, you have a lot of players. So, let's see how it happens. But I'm sticking to my guns. 51.
Right. Wow. People in the chat, let's write that down. JD's prediction, 50 wins for the Knicks. Salute to everybody, team hashtag new Arthur early in here. Tony FS201 Weeks, what's going on? Ed Santana says hashtag new. Ed's in here every night, but we appreciate him anyway. Who else we got in team hashtag new? Ron Allen, what's going on, Ron? Appreciate it. And yeah, man, salute to everybody. Kevin Lewis, appreciate it. All right, Chip. Your thoughts on D Rose next season?
Yeah, I'm happy he's back, obviously, and I agree with everything the guys just said. I just want to see more of the same from him. Just leading the bench, making the young guys better, and I want to see if he can help McBride come along, help Grimes come along. If those guys get minutes, I'm not sure if we'll see much of Jericho Sims, but if he comes along, what he can do for Jericho Sims, I just want to keep seeing this veteran leader, Derrick Rose, that we saw last year. That's the guy I want to see. Yeah, who can get the most out of young guys. We talked about Obi earlier. I want to see D Rose help Obi again and make Obi continue to get better because the best chance Obi has at getting better is by having players like Derrick Rose help him get better.
Thanks.
I don't think he's in a position right now where he can get better on his own. He's not at that level. So I think that's what I want to see from Rose. Obviously, he's going to be Derrick Rose by himself. We don't need to say that even. He's going to have a game where he's going to go crazy. And I expect that from him. I think, Alex, you brought up his three-point percentage may dip a little, and I guess that's kind of a concern. Like, he's probably not going to shoot 40% from three next year. And Julius Randle may not do that either. I think a lot of people's 3-point
come
percentage
down
is
a
going to
little bit.
dip next year.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was a little bit of a fluky year. But I still think he can keep that 3-point percentage up. He's been shooting the ball from 3 a lot better recently. Yeah. I think he's been taking a lot smarter shots recently as he's gotten older. So I think it'll be interesting to see what Tibbs does with the lineups with him. Like, who he plays him with. Like, will he ever play him with Kemba? I don't know. Will he play like
is that the closing lineup?
Yeah,
Tibbs
yeah,
goes with
like,
his point guard
will
and
he-
his son in the backcourt.
I know, right? I'm really interested to see if he plays D Rose and Kemba.
Yeah, 100%,
like,
bro. 100%.
yeah, I want to see if that happens. I think that would be fun to watch. I totally would love to watch that, but I mean, that's just a fun fan thing. I'm not sure if Tibbs would ever go that small.
I would not put it past him. I would not put it past him.
Maybe he'd
never
try
know,
it.
man. I mean, and we'll talk about lineups later on this month, because that's going to be one of the things. Who's going to be in the clutch lineup? Because, Rose could easily start. And I still think Kemba will get the nod. I think Rose, as we talked about with that second unit, the chemistry was just so potent. I feel like you keep that. And then you try to, manage his minutes and just get him to the finish line. It's not 72 games this year, it's 82. And as much as he gave us last year, again, Rose Hive might not agree, but just watching every game, the second night of the back-to-backs, he wasn't as impactful. After the Laker game, as I joked, they brought him back in a body bag. He didn't even make it to, I think he missed the first 2 of the last 3 home games at MSG, right? I think he missed the Spurs game and the Hornets game, or one of the other. I think it was the Hornets game first, and then maybe he played in the Spurs game, and then he closed it out. I forgot, but you got to manage those minutes, and then Game 4 of the Hawks series, man. Just watching, I was at that game, and he had nothing left after that. He absolutely had nothing left. So you're gonna have to manage those minutes, embrace the depth. Get McBride in there. Get quickly some more minutes. Get Burks in there for some more minutes. Obviously, you have Kemba, who you're going to have to watch his minutes as well. But there's no reason why, if Rose doesn't get, seriously injured, that he can't be fresh in time for a playoff run or so on and so forth after they get through the 82-game season. Even though, the three-point volume wasn't that high, 53% effective field goal percentage. This was the highest of his career. He was very, very efficient shooting the ball with the Knicks this year, man. 50% across the mid-range, 9% turnover percentage. So he took care of the ball very well. And it was just very, very efficient in terms of his decision-making. The impact on the bench was ridiculous. And what was the other point I had on Rose? Shot creation on the pull-ups, which again was a point of emphasis for the Knicks this year. He was 50% effective field goal percentage on pull-up jump shots on 5 attempts. So you add in Fournier's 53 on 5 attempts, Kemba's 47 on 8 attempts, Burks 53 on 4 attempts. I think that was really a point of emphasis in terms of the composition of this team. And I think he'll maintain those numbers. I think he'll hover around those numbers this year. Maybe he takes a slight uptick depending on the overall improvements from Obi, Burks, IQ, and so on. But yeah, I think D Rose is going to be on track to compare to what he did last year for us. For sure. What do you guys think in the chat, man? Derrick Rose, what are your expectations for D Rose coming into the 21-22 season? Leave a comment in the chat and we'll shout you guys out. I want to shout out Soldier Slim, sends a super chat. He says, last season I predicted 40 wins. I was called crazy. See what crazy got us. This season I'm calling 54 wins and at least a second round game 7. For a chance to advance. God bless. Hashtag Knicks Way Soldier Slim. Feeling it tonight. You see, that was all you, JD, man. You sparked the movement, man.
50 club, man.
50
I don't know about 54, but I feel a lot better that I'm not alone.
50 club,
if Embiid gets hurt, and they trade Simmons.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it in a second. We're going to take some calls. Eric Booker sends a super chat. He says, any update on the opening night gathering at MSG October 20th? It's coming soon. Thanks for reminding me, Eric. It is coming soon. Right now, we're working on getting some sections on the Chase Bridge. Opening night, Knicks versus Celtics, October 20th. KnicksFanTV, Knicks Omni Fan production. Just like we did 2 years ago, Knicks versus Celtics opening night, man. So hopefully you guys will join us. Stay tuned for all the package details, pricing, and everything. But we are definitely doing a group outing for opening night. Knicks versus Celtics at MSG, October 20th. So, Eric, thanks for reminding me to make that announcement. All right, let's go to the phones. Icewater from Brooklyn. Icewater, what's going on, bro?
Yeah, what's going on, fellas? How's everybody?
Good, man. How you feeling,
bro? Yeah, just, play expectations. I mean, I agree with everybody on the panel. Derrick Rose, as long as he keeps up the production that he had last year, or a little bit more, that's all we need from Derrick Rose, just to keep that bench. I think I talked to y'all a couple of nights ago, and, that second unit, if he can, be a positive influence on that second unit like he was last year, I think that's a Knicks strength, is that second unit. And I think he's the catalyst of it. As long as he keeps doing that, I think, I think that's what the Knicks want. I think that's what Tibbs wants. Toppin, I'm kind of concerned about, only because, Tibbs likes to play Randall, like 70 minutes a game, so I don't know. And the game's only 48 minutes. This guy's just playing. He just leaves him out there. I don't, I'm hoping he doesn't do that this year, and Toppin is able to get in some minutes.
Yeah.
But we'll see. You know how Tibbs is. He just, Well, anyway, Vildoza. Vildoza. I mean, I had some expectations before I saw that interview with you, and then I was like, oh my God, this guy. Oh my God. I hope nobody from the Knicks saw that.
I think I might have set the bad tone for Summer League, man. I think that might have been me, man. I apologize to those and the Knicks, man.
Man, well, I was like, wow, I turned that off. I was like, this guy. But maybe, just maybe, I have a little bit more confidence in Leon Rose and the brass now, and I think that with picking him up, they saw something in him.
Yeah.
So, I'll trust him, and, let's see what happens with him. I just know that, I don't know how much playing time he's going to get. You're talking about, Kimba and Rose and, now McBride, and everybody's going to want to see McBride and how he does. So
right.
I don't know, I don't know how many minutes Vildoza gets, but yeah, man, like I told y'all a couple of nights ago, the Knicks are loaded. I'm looking for them to push to the Eastern Conference Finals. That's my goal for the team. And,
okay.
As long as everybody plays their roles, and with the additions of Kemba and Fournier, this team is stacked. So I'm really excited about the season.
Appreciate the call, man. So Icewater's going. He wants to go to the ECF. All right, well, we'll see how it's going, man. Shout out Hillel Boehm checking in from Israel by way of Long Island. So Hillel, what's going on? Welcome to the show. Hashtag new, what's going on? Everybody, type your cities in the chat. Throw your country flags in the chat. Who was that? Me? I don't think that.
Probably.
Was that me?
I guess so. I heard that.
The Spotify went off. That's what it was. Somebody was on the Spotify. All right. I was like, what? Where did that come from? I thought that was you, JD, man.
Nah, I'm good.
All right. Here we go. Let's go to Angel. Angel's up next. What's going on, bro?
Yo, what's good, CP? How you doing, bro?
Chilling, man. How you feeling?
I'm good. I finally recovered from my birthday last Thursday, so I'm good to go now.
Happy born day, bro. Happy born day.
Thanks, bro. And the fellowship, JD, Vanilla CP, Alex, what's good? My brothers, how y'all doing, bro?
Good, man. What's going on?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, yeah.
Hey, thanks, man. God is good, brothers. And be careful out there, man. It's a bad storm in Philly, and then, New Orleans, man. So I definitely want to, throw my prayers to them. And hey, listen, first thing first, man, hit that thumbs up for your boys,
Yeah,
man. Hit that
let's get those
subscribe
like
button.
button.
But hey, listen, I think it's going to be really interesting, because now we have expectations, right? Because last year we didn't have any. Now this year we're expected to make the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you guys were talking about for Obi expectations. It's going to come down to these keys for Obi, right? I think he's going to average around 8 to 10 points a game. I'm looking maybe around 15, 20 minutes per game, but with room to grow as well, because if he can work on his handles offensively and keep that confidence, because we saw that he played way better later on down in the season, right? And in the summer league as well. So if he could work on his handle and, make some mid-range jump shots more consistently, then I think that's going to open up some minutes for him as well, because right now he's just in the corner or in the post. So we work on that offensively. But the keys, honestly, is defensively. If he could show Coach Hibbs that he could alter shots, he could block shots, and, he becomes a great defender, that's gonna give him a lot more minutes and take away minutes from Mitch and Noel, because, honestly, if you look at offensively, they don't have Obi's arsenal offensively. They don't have a post game. If you look at how they score their points, they're scoring their points off rebounds or it's just alley-oops. Obi can do all that and make jump shots, So I'm just hoping that if he keeps improving, then you'll be able to play him at Randall. But obviously, it's like you say, take it one day at a time. And as always, brothers, y'all be safe.
Appreciate
Thank
it,
you guys
man.
for taking my call. Y'all have a good night.
Keep celebrating your birthday, man. Happy birthday once again, Angel. Salute to you. Definitely appreciate the call. Shout out King Matthews in the chat, sends a super chat. He says, "What's up, Knick Nation? I can't wait for this season coming up. And my Knicks are winning 50-plus games, and we're getting a number 3 to 5 spot. I'm calling it, and I agree with," I think you meant to say JD. So JD's sparking the revolution right now. He's with the 50-win club, and he's got people in the chat loud and proud about it. All right.
Well, let me ask you this, CP.
Yeah.
And I guess everyone. If I were to tell you that everyone on the team is going to be 100% healthy,
yeah,
everyone's going to be available all year, would you doubt the 50-win prediction? In other words, or you think their ceiling is still lower than that, even if everyone's healthy?
It's an 82-game season, right? It's an 82-game season. Again, things have to break right. We have guys on this team whose health and durability are critical to the success of this team. I can count on Julius. He's been an Iron Man outside of the broken leg in his rookie year. Your point guards, how are they going to play? How are they going to defend? How does it change with no Bullock, no Payton? I got to see all that first. How does it change with fans in the stands in terms of momentum and pressure and things of that nature? We got to factor all of that, into the equation. But on paper, I love what they're looking like. Just having that stability and the continuity from last year, and seeing that, again, I'm confident that Julius will maintain his level of production, right? If he drops a little bit on the 3-point numbers, so okay here and there, but just the player that he is. See, it's hard to say mentally because he choked in the playoffs, but in the regular season, I'm talking about maturity. All right. Forget mentally. Say maturity-wise. The player that he's growing into, I'm confident that he can be that same guy and produce at that level in the regular season. What happens in the postseason, we'll see. You know what I mean? So far, I like how it's looking. I just got to wait and see how it plays out on the court.
I think in a vacuum, right? If you're saying, if we're going to use JD's hypothetical, everyone's healthy in a vacuum, everyone, in the NBA, I could see 50 wins. I can lean more towards it. I think they're going to get 48. I just think that if we look at the East too, everyone else in the East got better. I know we're going to talk about Philly soon and how maybe they're going to be on the decline, but I still think you look at Miami, they got Kyle Lowry now. They added some guys down there. You look at, the Nets are going to be there. You got to you got to consider the Milwaukee Bucks, the reigning champs. Chicago got better too, even though the team seems it's interesting, but they did get better. So there's a lot of teams in the East that just improved as well. So I think it's just hard for me to say with everyone improving plus, the injury proneness of just Kemba Walker and Derrick Rose, and if you want to throw Mitchell Robinson in there as well, it's just hard for me to like fully say 50. But I think we could be I know we're going to be a competitive team.
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident we'll make the playoffs again. I just don't see us falling off that far off the cliff. I don't think it was that much of a fluky season where you become the 4th seed team, get home court advantage, and then you just go off a massive cliff. I don't see that happening because we're bringing back majority of the same roster. You still have the same coaching staff for the most part. Everything is still intact. You get pluses in Kemba Walker over EP, and you get, I would say, a plus in Evan Fournier over Reggie Bullock.
Yeah.
The question is like defense between Evan Fournier and Bullock, but even still, Evan Fournier's playmaking and his scoring, I think, is just that much of an increase that you're going to get a better team and they'll be more competitive. But I just look at the East in total, like looking at, like, we're talking about the West Coast trips that they have to go on to, which is going to be a slaughter for them as well. It's just tough. But you could say based off this season, they did pretty well, especially at the last leg. They go 3-3. Maybe this year they can do that again or become better. I just look at that, all of that together. I think all of that together is just so hard for me to say over 50. I'll say with a firm 48.
Yeah.
But hell, I mean, if they get over 50, I'll be jumping out the window too. I'll be running
100%.
around the street going
100%.
wild.
Yeah. That'd be great. Like, I like the 48 prediction win too, Alex. I think that's a good one. I think even if they are 100% healthy, which is so rare for a good team, even like
Right.
the last team I can remember is the Warriors. I think the pre-Durant Warriors were so lucky with health. They were perfect with health. But I think it's so rare. And even if they are 100% healthy, we don't know what version of Kemba we're getting. Like, are we going to get the guy who was even the Kemba from last year would be amazing for us. But could we be getting him, or could we be getting the guy from 2 years ago who was an all-star, or my God, the guy from 3 years ago who was all NBA third team? Probably not getting him, but that would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I mean, who knows what Mitch is going to look like? The last time I was on this show, we were talking Mitch is a wild card. And now coming back from this hand injury, he's a total wild card. Like, we really don't know what we're getting with Mitch. And now you add in the whole factor of him playing in a contract year. I don't know what Mitch is going to look like in a contract year. And I mean, I have a lot of faith in Quickly. I'm a big Quickly fan, but he's not like the underdog rookie anymore. Now he's coming in with teams that are going to be keying on him. They know how good he is. So I'm not sure he's going to get off to like a super hot start like he did last year. So I think he's going to be maybe quickly could regress a little bit, at least at the beginning of the year. There's going to be exactly. He's going to be keyed on more than he was last year. And I think it'll be hard for them to win 50. And Alex mentioned how much teams got better, and the East is really good.
East is good, man.
Really good.
East is good, and we'll get to that when we talk Philly real quick. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. On the city check-ins, we got a lot of people checking in from Guyana. Shan BK, Soldier Slim, what's going on? Vito Shaw checking in from Kansas City. We got my guy Elias Dante, longtime viewer, checking in from Amsterdam. Lloyd Barker Rock checking in from Panama by way of Cali. We got Michael Montez checking in from the DR. Clark Am 2, H-Town, Houston, Texas. What's going on? East Flatbush in here. So my guy Soldier Slim, he's getting ready to hit the Parkway this weekend. I don't even know what the Parkway is popping this weekend with COVID and everything. I'm not so sure. Sarmth Kalia, what's going on? Is that an Iranian flag? I'm not sure. Can't see too well. I need my glasses. I can't see too well. Shout out Strawberry Jam checking in from Australia. Salute, salute, salute. And King Matthews sent a super chat clarifying. He said he was agreeing with Icewater on his predictions, but he says JD isn't wrong too. So shout out King Matthews. I mean, I had said 46 wins, so it wasn't too far off from the 50. All right, back to the phones we go. I see Ari's on the line. We're going to close with Ari. Let's go to Jay from East New York. Jay, what's going on the Discord? Yo. Jay, just turn your volume down, Jay.
Yo,
what's good, bro?
hello.
Yep, loud and clear. What's going on, man?
Yeah, man. So, I mean, I feel like Obi, the only way for him to go is up. So anything he do is going to be better than his rookie season. If he give us 7 points and 3 rebounds,
Yeah.
and he just gives a lot of effort and does the energy plays and knocks his wide open threes down, I'm satisfied. D Rose, he's a vet. We already know he's been in the league over 10 years. He's going to play his role well, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? We got enough depth at point guard, so we don't got to, like run him into the ground. You know what I'm saying? We got Kemba, we got McBride, we got Quickly. So it's a lot of point guards to, rotate and go through. Vildoza, yeah, I think he might just be going back to Argentina, man. I won't see him making the roster. I don't you know what I'm saying? Like, good luck to the kid, but that boy McBride, man, he looking good, man.
Yeah.
I want to see him get some minutes, even if it's bench dump minutes. I'll take that because he's gonna give effort. He's gonna knock some shots down. He's gonna make it look good. Hopefully he do something in the preseason and change everybody's mind. But right now, it ain't looking too good, man. But CP, man, I see y'all, man. Y'all doing y'all thing, man.
All right, man, Jay, stay up, bro. Good to hear from you, man.
All right, bro.
That's Jay from East New York. So let's keep it with the Jays. Let's go to my guy Jay from Florida. Debbie Downer is back in the building. Jay, what's going on, man? How you feeling today?
I'm back.
You up or you
I'm
down,
back
bro?
out
How
of
you feeling,
retirement.
man?
Debbie Downer's back for a little bit. I had to make an appearance. Listen, I hear all the win predictions, right?
Oh,
Y'all
boy.
saying 50, 54. Vegas is saying 40.5, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you look at Randall, let's talk about our star player. We got different variables. But I'm looking at Randall's stats right now with fans in the stadium.
Right.
Randall, in 2019, Randall shot 33% from three. Every year he shot from 27% to 33%, except for last year. In the playoffs, guess what he shot again? 33%. The difference between the playoffs and the regular season, fans were in the seats. If anybody on the panel played ball before, I played ball against NBA players, European players. When they play pickup basketball with nobody watching them, they're unstoppable in that kind of setting, right? I think Randall comes back down to earth. Sorry to be a Debbie Downer, but I don't think Randall has as good of a year as he had last year. Kemba and Rose, they nice, but they older.
Yeah.
If you look at what Atlanta's doing, Atlanta just signed all their youth for the next 4 or 5 years. They got $100 million committed to, I think, Capella, Collins, Young, and Herter. They ready, man. They signed up. They got their core ready to go. What are we going to do? Are we going to be middle of the road moving forward, or are we going to be a contender? If we win 40 games this year, we right back in that draft conversation. Was the 4th seed worth it? Right? We got to start thinking about that. This is an important year in terms of building out the roster. We say we want to trade for a superstar. If we regress a little bit, those odds get a little thinner. We kind of wasted a pick this year. It's just, I know y'all. I know y'all got tomatoes out in the chat right now.
The
but you gotta
tomatoes
look at
flying out in the chat
Bring
right
the
now.
tomatoes. Rain the tomatoes on me. Come on, I need it. I ain't had tomatoes in like 3 weeks. Come on, rain them on me. But you gotta look at the stats. Your man Randall's a different player with no fans in the building. It's facts. If you look at his stats, 33% from three, free throw percentage is down, field goal percentage is down, everything is down. His effort is always here, but your man is in his head. I'm gone.
Jay from Florida, a.k.a. Debbie Downer. The tomatoes are flying in the chat right now. Never fails, man. I mean, look, as I said to JD, that's one of the things we got to look at. How does he impact our fans home and on the road, impact the statistics? I can't just put his 2019 production or lack thereof on just fans being in the stands. I think it was a lot of things. It was Fizdale being a lousy coach. You're still playing with Peyton. You had Marcus Morris, who had some high usage as well. Who's the offense flowed through, and overall, you just had a lackluster Julius Randle who just wasn't making good decisions. Fans are not. We'll have to see how things impact them when they come back in the regular season. I'm banking on the fact that night in, night out, you're going to be playing different teams of different capabilities, of different strengths, and he should be able to get his production over the course of a season and maintain his typical averages. And you just hope that he's making the same good decisions that he made last year. Again, when the playoff comes and teams start to adjust, now you want to see how does he adjust in his second playoff stint. How does he adjust with more help that Kemba and Fournier, if they're healthy, give him? RJ year 3, how does he adjust? So I think there's a lot of factors in play that will impact, Julius Randle's overall production for this team. Fans could be one thing, but I think it's a small thing compared to the rest.
Yeah, I agree with you, CP. I think it's a small piece of that puzzle of how is he actually going to perform during a full regular season with fans and how he would perform in the playoffs. To say that he would go from, because last season he shot 27%, like close to pretty much 28% from three, and to say he went from 28% from three to 41% to three just without any fans, that's a drastic difference. To say fans caused that much of a change. I think for him, for Randle's underperformance in the playoffs, it was more due to the fact that he was the only offensive player that was like consistently giving us points throughout the entire regular season. And then once playoffs come along, they were able to hone in on him and really stop his production, because who else were we going to rely on outside of Derrick Rose, who decided to show up? RJ Barrett wasn't there. And outside of RJ Barrett, Reggie Bullock didn't do anything.
Yeah, no
and
help.
Then from there, who else was there?
Yeah,
But
no
they didn't
help.
get many minutes. Yeah, so if you don't have help and everyone's just focusing on you, of course you're not going to perform in the playoffs. Like we're not talking about LeBron James over here, but like Julius Randle needs a complete team around him to really like show off his full talent. So I see Randle. I could see like the fans playing some sort of like an aspect, maybe coming down, maybe for game boos, because like the team's getting blown out, and then like it's affecting your confidence and just affecting your style of play. But I think this team is going to be competing night in and night out. I can't see a Tom Thibodeau led team just
dropping
folding. Yeah, and I just can't see it. Like if we look even at Tom Thibodeau's record, he's had winning teams. There's a reason why he's the 11th, 12th most winningest head coach in NBA history with 500 plus games under his belt. So I just can't see the Knicks falling that drastically, and just one player in particular just dropping that much in production.
I think JD might be on mute. No, I can't hear you.
You hear me now?
Yep, loud and clear. Good to go.
All right. Yeah, I mean, with Randle, here's the thing. They have some pressure to get off to a fast start, CP. They have a little bit.
Absolutely. No question.
Unfortunately, we live in a narrative business in terms of the media, right? And it's okay. There's a narrative right now that, that let's see how he does when the fans are back and expectations now, and can he duplicate the season? And I mean, I don't know how valid that really is, but it is what it is. And I'm sure he knows that. And don't you think he's motivated about that?
100%.
I think he is. We've seen some stuff online with he's, having some intense workouts. So I think he sees the some of the doubts. He sees some of the questioning, and he does need to get off to a good start. Let's say the first 3 games he gets off struggling. What are people going to say? It's only 3 games in an 82 game season, but it's
They're
just
gonna go back
off
to the Hawks series, bro. That's the recency bias. That's the recency bias, man.
But I do agree with Jay in terms of, I don't know, and Chip had mentioned this about the 3-point percentages of the players. I don't know that all these players are going to shoot that well. But I also, there's people that are saying, well, he's not going to have the same statistical year. My answer to that is, that's fine. He doesn't have to, because what he needs to do is, even if he dips in points per game and he goes from 41% to 37%, for example, that's fine. What he needs to keep is the impact. Remember, Julius Randle, there's never really been an issue about him putting up numbers. I mean, he averaged almost a double-double the year before with the Knicks. It's about what type of impact those numbers had on the floor. Where are they translating to making others better? Where are they translating to winning basketball? And that is really the real jump he made from last year to this year. So for me, my expectations of him is maintain that impact. Don't regress in terms of what you were last year. Even if you dip in stats, as long as though what you're contributing is contributing to winning basketball, that's all I want.
Yeah.
And I think that's all Knicks fans want as well.
Yeah. I think the points could dip a little bit, and you mentioned the shooting a little bit too, and it's irrelevant as long as he continues to not turn the ball over, make bad decisions like he did his first year in New York. If he continues to create plays for other people and create 3-point shots like he did for Reggie Bullock, him to Reggie Bullock was one of the best 3-point combos in the NBA last year.
Chemistry was unreal.
Unreal chemistry.
Was solid.
And I expect him and Fournier to have similar to maybe even better chemistry next year. So if he can keep that up, that'll count for a ton of points next year too. And so if he can keep doing things like that, that's just as good as scoring. So his 3-point shooting will regress a little bit, but I mean, he's just turned himself into such a gifted passer that kind of offsets that really.
Yeah. And as again to JD's point, man, the work ethic is second to none, man. Between him and RJ, I mean, listen, a lot of guys in the NBA work hard. I get that, but he's serious, man. He's serious about getting better every year, and you've seen it. I think you've seen it on the court. Yes, that first year when he got here under Fizdale was a disaster, but if you look at his chart, he's been on an upward trajectory since his rookie year in terms of improvements. So I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Most improved player, all-star. I got to give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, we were saving the Julius conversation for the last episode. We pretty much went through it, but we'll talk about it.
You might as well add him to the thumbnail.
We might as well add him to the thumbnail. Thanks to Jay from Florida. My guy Fredo in the chat said we got to get Jay from Florida V8 Splash sponsorship because the tomatoes are still flying around. The chat is not playing with him tonight. The tomatoes are still flying for Debbie Downer, but shout out to Jay, man. All right, 2 more calls before we start to close. Let's go to Maryland. Charles, what's going on?
How you doing tonight?
Good, man. How you feeling, bro?
I'm all right, man. I don't understand some of these Knicks fans. They don't see the picture that our front office is drawing for us. They don't see that it's a Picasso right now. We're going to win 50-plus games. Let me explain to you why.
Let's go.
Our problem last year was that we had no ball handlers that can create their own shots.
Facts.
Now they've added that to our team. So now you have there's 4 starters on the floor with either Noel or Mitch that can create, that can put it on the floor, that can create spacing. Now they talk about the health of the guards. The guards, look what the front office did. We got 2 dynamic point guards. They both do have an injury history. But when you balance out that time, I feel bad for the other teams because we're going to keep that pressure on whatever guard they put in the game. So when they come in the game with their bench guard, and we put Rose in, now you got to deal with that.
Yep.
Then we're not going to be missing anything. When you look at how deep our team is, at the 2 guard, at the small forward, even behind Randall, Obi's going to be running the floor. They keep talking about, Randall plateau. No, Randall gets better every year. He puts in that work. Look at that man work. That man puts in that work. RJ puts in that work. We got a team of gym rats. They built a team that's deep and it's going to play defense. We know Thibodeau's going to have them playing defense, and we have better scorers, better spacing this year. So it's going to be much more open shots for RJ, for everybody. It's going to look beautiful on the court if it works the way that they drew it up to work. If everybody can if they balance that time with the guards and they balance that, because even if you look at our center position, when you come out with Mitch, and then we come in with Noel, the defense is always going to be anchored.
On point. It's going to be on
We're
point.
going to always have an anchor in. We're always going to have a good guard on the floor at leading the point.
Yeah.
Always. We're not going to be lacking in those 2 areas. RJ is going to play well. If not, Burks is going to come in and do what Burks does. We have a team that is deep. We have a team that's going to play hard, and I don't want to hear nothing about no 45 wins. We're going to win 50 wins because Thibodeau coaches in season. We're going to keep that pressure up on the teams. We deep. We deep. I don't want to hear none of that other stuff. Anything under 50 games, I'm disappointed as a Knicks fan because of the way they built our team. And we have young players that they drafted that I want to see McBride get in there and play D and strap up full court. Forget Forget Frank. The French Prince is gone. Give me Deuce.
The deuce is loose, man. Charles, appreciate it, man. Charles spitting facts. What do you guys think in the chat, man? Rate Charles's call on a scale of 1 to 5, 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. John Talento's throwing his vote in the chat. He says it's a 5. Charles spitting facts, man. I like this points. You know, I like this points. So let's see what happens. All right, before we get to the closing topics, we're gonna close the callers with Ari from Manhattan. Ari, what's going on, man?
Yo, what's up, guys? How you guys doing?
It was good, bro. How you feeling? Ari, you coming
What's
to
up,
open
Ari?
tonight with us, or what's good, man? You rocking with us or what, bro?
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm with it. Just let me know the details, and I'm down. What is Boston, right?
Yeah, Boston, October 20th.
I'm in. I'm down.
All right.
What was I gonna say? First of all, like, my God, I have so much to say right now. But basically, like, if you say something somewhat criticizing the team, you get tomatoes thrown at you. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, we as the fans, just because we have a different point of view doesn't mean we're wrong. Like, personally, I think Jay was 100% right.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Like, everyone's saying, like, Randall took a big step, and he did. Listen, I'm not saying he didn't, but look what he did in the playoffs, right? How are you gonna count a COVID year where there's no fans in the stands? Half these teams don't even want to play the game. You think these people were prepared? Tibbs is out playing every game like it's the NBA Finals. All these other teams were on the road, probably not even engaged at all, worried about their health, like, you know what I mean? And no one's in the stands.
Fair.
Like, he was shooting the reason why I have the Knicks at 46 wins, I had them at 46, right? And I think that the health thing is a little overblown because we are so deep. I think we actually are in the position where we could take a couple of injuries and still kind of hold the fort down. Mm-hmm. So I'm not worried about that. But there's the only way this team wins 50 games. The only way is if Randall has a relatively similar year as he did last year, and RJ Barrett takes the next step. And based off that video you were showing on Instagram about RJ at that open run,
oh yeah,
he was looking pretty nice, man. He was looking nice, man. Mm-hmm. He added some moves. He added some side steps. So I have hopes for him. But that's the only way this team is going to win 50 games, because I don't think Randall's going to have the same season as he did last year. You're incorporating two ball-dominant players in Kemba and Fournier, which have to be fit into the system. Everyone's role is going to change. They're probably going to get off to a slow start. And the entire East got better. So, I'm at 46 games. But the real question I have for you is, Randall's going to play 35 minutes a game regardless, right? So that leaves 13 minutes for Obi Toppin, right? Mm-hmm. I personally think Obi Toppin needs at least 20 minutes a game. I think he deserves it, and I think we need to see what we have in him. Now, there's no way Obi's going to play the 3. It's impossible. There's no way Obi or Randall is going to play the 5. It's impossible. I'm just throwing this out there. Do you think Randall could play 5 to 10 minutes a game at the 3?
Yeah,
and
people keep
Obi
saying
at the 4? Because I feel like Randall has better lateral movement and can guard the perimeter better than Obi can. If that could be maybe how Obi gets the extra 7 minutes a game, have Randall slide to the 3. That's all. That's the only thing I could say. But and also Vegas is never that off. Like, if Vegas is saying 40.5 wins, yeah, they were off last year. But if Vegas is saying 40.5 wins, if you have a take where you think you're going to win 44 games or 46 games, it doesn't make you a hater. Doesn't mean you should throw tomatoes at someone. Just because you don't like what someone has to say doesn't mean you deserve to get thrown tomatoes at, all right? You guys
They're throwing it.
These fans that are throwing tomatoes, are just soft. If you disagree with them, they get mad. They throw tomatoes.
Tomatoes coming
They
at
don't even
Ari's
want to
head
argue.
today.
They don't even want to put out an argument. Pathetic. Whatever. That's my take, man. I think 46 games, and I'm curious to think if you think Randall could play the 3 in spot minutes.
All right.
So thank you for the call.
Appreciate the call, boy. Appreciate the call, Ari. All I see in the chat are a sea of tomatoes, and then I see a 5 from Jay from Florida. A series of 5s from Jay from Florida.
And then he gave the last call a 1.
And they gave the last call a 1. Salute to everybody in the chat, man. The chat is live. At least we know the chat is awake tonight because the tomatoes are flying at Jay and Ari. So that means we might have to have a Battle of the Fans tag team edition, if you will. We might have to set that up, man. When we talk about record predictions later on this month.
We might have to do a show like on the whole East. See how we rank everyone.
Yeah, that'll be another show how we match up against the East, and we'll get some caller reactions to that as well. The Randall at the 3 thing. To me, the point is I'm looking for more spacing by adding Obi and Randall in the lineup and going smaller. I don't think I'm not pressed to necessarily have one or the other in there, with Mitch and Noel at the 5. I think to me it'd be more optimal to have them playing smaller, and then you have them spacing the floor for each other. You open things up for Julius to attack, for RJ to attack, and then you can truly go 5 out. You know what I mean? I think, could you try Randall at 3? I guess, but I think you can, still have RJ, Fournier, Randall, and still get your same offensive productivity. Like, Obi is a good, offensive player, but I don't think he's the guy that you put Randall at 3, him at the 4, if you're that desperate for offense. I don't see it. With still a traditional, Mitch or Noel at the 5, I don't see that being optimal.
I mean, I'm not fully against like Randall at 3. I don't like hate the idea. I think he does have good lateral movement, as Ari pointed out. But to your point, CP, like, are you trying to go smaller? Are you trying to go bigger? Like, in that instance, are we going bigger with Obi and then you have Mitch or Noel out there? Right. Like, that wouldn't be a bad idea if you want to get some, like, because Randall can shoot now. If you add 2 other shooters out there, it's not horrendous. I'd be actually interested to see how that works. I think if that's how you want to get them both out there, still keep rim protection, have Julius Randle more as a shooter, and really take advantage of like small forwards or even whatever wings are out there, and really see if they can just go at him. I think it's an interesting lineup.
By going bigger, that'd be interesting. That would be interesting.
He needs the coach to win. Period. Like if you're messing with lineups just because you want to get a young player 5 additional minutes, like what is that? You know what I mean? Like you might play around and do that, and then those 5 minutes you're minus 10. Because you're messing with certain lineups just to get a player. Now, if you want to tell me that you're doing it because there's an advantage on the court, because you're maximizing a certain player's skill set based on the lineups, then that's one thing. But if you're doing it just to say, well, we need to get like to the 20-minute mark with Obi, so you know what, let's put this guy at the 3 and that guy, that's not a winning formula. That's not winning basketball in any sport. Now maybe him at the 5, I can see that argument because you can see him getting to the basket easier, getting easier looks at the rim. You're taking advantage of his athleticism, and you're probably keeping him closer to the basket. Whereas you put him at the 4 and Randall at the 3, you're probably making Randall more of a perimeter shooter now. And then what are you really doing with Obi in that lineup anyways if you're going to have Mitch next to him, or if you're going to have Noel next to him? You know what I mean? Like what talents are you taking advantage for Obi under that lineup more so than just knowing that Randall could play the 3? Randall could probably play the 3 in spot minutes, but I'm just trying to understand what is the advantage for us, doing that.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Chip, how about you, man?
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think you move Randall to the 3, you're bending over backwards to accommodate Obi and make him a priority, which he shouldn't be over Randall. And you're taking away, JD, you just said, you're taking away some of Randall's strengths by doing that to prioritize Obi, which just makes no sense at all. And I just don't see why you would move Randall to 3 offensively. Like you mentioned, Alex, like he may be able to handle guarding some 3s, but offensively, I just don't see how it makes any sense. Yeah. And you put him with Noel or Mitch, sure. I guess they could run well, especially with Mitch. They could run a lot of fast break stuff, but then who do you take off the court? Who comes off? I guess Fournier comes off the court. probably the lineup is Kemba, RJ, Julius, Obi, and Mitch. I did like, but I just don't. I don't see that the need to move Julius to the 3. You move him to the 3. That's such a shift to go from the 4 to the 3. You're messing with his rhythm.
Yeah.
He's never played that position before. You're asking him to guard a completely different player, to match up against a completely different player on offense. You're doing too much. You're messing with your guy. I wouldn't do that.
It's good points. Yeah, definitely good points, man. Go ahead, bro.
No, yeah, just to add on to that. No, like it makes sense to have Randall at the 5, and like it wouldn't be out of the norm. Like we saw some of that last year. Once again, going back to Queen the Glass,
90 seconds.
We had Randall play 1,296 possessions at the small ball 5. Most notable lineup was D Rose, Reggie Bullock, RJ Barrett, Taj Gibson, and Julius Randle. They had 205 possessions with each other, and that was a plus 16.9 differential. So Randall can play some small. I think if we're going to get Obi out there in any way possible, it'd have to probably be Randall at the 5 and then Obi at the 4. That probably makes the most sense. And they did do that last season. It's not enough to really have like a good in-depth analysis of like how well that would work together. They only had 85 possessions where that was a lineup where you had Obi at the 4 and Randall at the 5. So I think that's the best way if you want to keep Randall on the court. Still use his strengths, as JD and Chip you mentioned, just because it's you're bending over backwards to get Obi at the 4, moving Randall to the 3, which I totally understand. Like he's never played that position. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So go the other way, put Randall at the 5, get Obi at the 4, 2 positions where they're probably most comfortable, and use Randall's size, speed, quickness to take advantage of those bigger guys. And he still has the strength to go with those guys too, go toe to toe. It's not like, actually, if I remember correctly, I think he did where Mitch was getting bodied, Randall was doing where Mitch was getting bodied by Andre Drummond, Randall was actually holding his own against Andre Drummond when they played the Cavs. So move Randall to the 5, put Obi in at the 4, and that's probably your better option if that's what you want to do.
I think that would be the better option. I don't think they want to put that type of stress on Randall either. So I think Obi's stuck on the bench, man. Keep it real. I think he's going to be stuck on the bench. In fact, just like last year, you just got to do the most with your 13 to 15 minutes, man. That's just I think that's just what it's going to be. And again, over the course of the 82-game season, if they find some windows, on the second night of a back-to-back or in some blowouts where they give Julius a breather, I think realistically that's where Obi's going to get his opportunity. Honestly.
And real quick, the one thing with Obi too is we're figuring out combinations to get him on the court, and kind of asking other players to sacrifice. That's probably an issue for him under this system is his lack of defense. Now he has gotten better. I saw in summer league his activity was better, but you could still see in summer league he's still not where Tibbs would want him to be, and that's part of the issue as well in terms of the versatility. Where he was compared to Sean Marion. Maybe we can use him as this, a guy, that guy. But in order to use him at the 3 or at the 4, or at the 5, he needs to improve his defense, and because he's not there yet, it's part of the issue, where in terms of trusting him and giving him a little bit more minutes than Noel or than Mitch or doing lineup changes. That's one of the big factors that he has yet to prove to Tibbs. So, that's why sometimes I question the future of his fit with this coach and this regime is because with Tibbs, you need to be able to play the other side for him to trust you for an extended period of time.
True story indeed. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. All right, last topic of the night, man. Just real quick. It's finally been revealed that Ben Simmons wants out of Philadelphia, man. The speculation is over. Now it's real talk. Ben Simmons does not plan to start the season off with the Philadelphia 76ers. So this could, create some tidal waves in the East, especially depending on where Philly sends him to. What are you guys' predictions on where he goes? Al, I'll start with you, man. Where do you think Simmons goes?
Please give me the Sacramento Kings.
Send him to the wall. Send him to the wall, man.
Please, man, absolutely. Have him on the Night's watch, because that I feel like that is probably I just don't see, I know he preferred to be out in California, which is such an interesting request for a player, just saying, I just want to go to California, not even a team, just to say, I want to go to California.
Chris Broussard is saying that he'll go anywhere. He just wants to get up out of Philly. So it's kind of hard to know what the truth is.
I mean, I understand for him, like being dangled in the James Harden trade where you're in Philly. They paid you. They saw you and Embiid as the faces of the franchise. So I guess Daryl Morey has lost the trust in Ben Simmons, and that's understandable. And understandable that you want to get up out there and just go to a different place and show that you can shine somewhere else instead of having the same stink of like, all right, this guy doesn't shoot. Just all he does is play defense. He can pass. Is he more of a forward? Like we know he's a forward, but he can't play point if he can't shoot. So looking for a new opportunity. I think the Kings is probably like the best, honestly, like probably the best landing spot, just because I look at it from the other side where Philly would want De'Aaron Fox, and they also drafted Davion Mitchell. Where I don't know what the Kings are doing out there with just like how they're drafting, like how they're constructing their team. And I don't see De'Aaron Fox being happy in Sacramento either. So why not take this opportunity and just swap? I know I believe the Kings said they prefer to have De'Aaron Fox and Ben Simmons. I just don't see how you make that fit.
Yeah, how do you do that? That's weird.
I don't know. They both need the ball in their hand. So that's where I'm just confused with that. So it might just be best to move De'Aaron Fox and take Ben Simmons. But I got the Kings personally.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta think it's a Fox and Buddy Hield as the framework of a deal. Of course, picks and stuff like that. But I would have to think that's it. Now they're saying Minnesota is the number one contender for them. Who were they putting in a deal to keep? I mean, I guess you would have to put D'Lo in a package, right?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota.
I mean,
multiple
Gerson
picks.
Rosas,
You got some nice lottery quality picks.
Yeah, Rosas, their boss used to work for Morey too. That's how those deals get done. I mean, and I think it's D'Lo. I think you're right. I think he's the guy.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be around him. Obviously, they're not trading Ant and they're not trading Karl Anthony Towns.
Right.
So I mean, maybe Beasley gets thrown in there too. I'm sure they'd be happy to get rid of him with everything going on with him.
Yeah.
But I think it's got to be centered around D'Lo. And I'm sure picks too. And I'm not sure what other salary filler. But yeah, I don't think they'd lose any sleep over trading D'Lo anyway. So Simmons is obviously a better player, but I think Philly, I'm sure he'd be a okay fit in Philly. I think anybody who can put the ball in the basket around Embiid would be fine. But yeah, I think Minnesota is the favorite just because of the connection with Morey there, and D'Lo's probably. I mean, if I were Alex, you mentioned Fox. If I were Sacramento, I wouldn't trade Fox for Simmons. Why would you give up that much? They have no leverage right now. I would be like, you can have Buddy Hield. That's the best player you can have on the team. Buddy Hield or Harrison Barnes. That's what I would trade. Or maybe both.
So here's what Sam Amick of The Athletic is saying. This was 5 hours ago on The Athletic. He says Ben Simmons won't be in a Sacramento Kings jersey anytime soon, if ever, unless Philly's asking price goes down dramatically. Let's see what the price is. The Kings spoke to the Sixers weeks ago, made it clear neither Fox nor Halliburton would be included in a possible Simmons deal. That stance will not change, and the internal expectation is that the core of their roster will remain the same heading into training camp later this month. No current conversation between the two teams, and barring drastic changes in demands, it appears the Kings are an unlikely landing spot for Simmons. If there is a Kings deal to be had eventually, Buddy Hield, Marvin Bagley III have been widely seen as the most likely players to be included. And that's that. So forget the Kings. I think you might be right, man. It could be Soda. Could be Soda, man.
I think so. Or the Warriors.
You want him on the Knicks?
Warriors are the dark horse.
No, thank you.
Oh, no.
No, thank
There's fans that want him though, low key.
No, I'm good, man.
Who would they even trade for him? Who would they even trade for him?
I was trying to think of a hypothetical package, but I'm like, unless it's a 3-team deal, I just don't have enough salary.
Yeah. Nah, I'm
you
good.
Know? But I think the whole like their stance, I think, Morey is just being Daryl Morey in terms of, right up until the end, just trying to get as much as he can, and he's probably trying to raise his value. I think in a perfect scenario, what the Sixers would want is for Dame Lillard to ask for a trade so that they can go to Portland and offer Simmons, Maxey. Now, now you're talking.
Yeah.
But if I'm the Trailblazers, I'm approaching the Sixers for Ben Simmons trade, but not for Dame. I'm trying to maybe you put CJ or do another combination there. If I'm a Utah, like if I'm one of these teams, small market teams, to where there's a slim chance as a free agent you're going to attract a free agent.
Yeah.
There's questions about the actual window of Utah, and I know that Donovan Mitchell has a long-term contract there, but what is their true window to win? When you look at teams like Utah, the Denver Nuggets, the Portland Trailblazers, like these small market teams that they have talent now, but championship, like you take a risk, and if I'm one of those teams that's a contender, what else are you going to do? These small market teams, when they implode, you go back to building to the draft. You're never going to probably get free agents to sign there.
Yeah.
So, I'm looking at it a very elite defender. You can make an argument he's the best defensive wing in the NBA. So if I'm one of those teams, I'm looking to go for Ben Simmons. But I mean, on the Knicks or anybody else,
yeah,
no.
I'm good.
I'm good.
As you said, one of the best defenders in the league, if not the best defensive wing at the league. But it's just, what is his position? He's a fast break transition player in a half court with no half court moves. You know what I'm saying? It's one thing if you can't shoot, but if he had a low post game or something to get you some high percentage buckets, he's a complete liability on the offensive side. That's a tough trade. Tough trade, man.
And then his salary.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
You're adding that salary to your franchise. You're talking about paying $30+ million to a player that can't even shoot a mid range. Forget the 3-point. Forget a free
Facts.
throw. Even a mid range, he can't even pull up from there. So, do you want to allocate that much, salary into your franchise and be so deficient on the offensive end?
Should have went and got Harden when they had the chance, man. What is Morey thinking, man? Should have went and got Harden, bro.
Morey really botched that one.
He
really
should have
did.
got
Harden
Harden, man.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, great show, fellas. Great job, everybody in the chat. Let's get out of here, man. Al, I'll start with you. Go ahead and sign out, bro.
Guys, great talking Knicks with you as always. Salute to Knicks Nation. Salute to the mods. Awesome time. And for everyone out there, you can find me over at the Knicks Jets Etc. podcast, part of the Fanside Minute Media production. You can also check me out and everyone else out over at KnicksFanTV.com. Check out my guy Chip Murphy right over there. We just had David posted a piece yesterday on Julius Randle's extension. We had Paul, who also posted something on Taj Gibson and why he chose to return. So make sure to go check out KnicksFanTV.com and go check out the work everyone's doing over there.
Yes, sir. JD, sign out, bro.
Shout out to the whole Knicks Fan TV team, the writers, Chip, Alex, CK2K. Also want to say congratulations to Ashley.
Congrats to Ashley, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, full time on SI Digital. So congratulations once again to Ash, man. That's big, major.
Absolutely. Congratulations to Ashley and good luck on that new journey with Sports Illustrated. And we've covered Noel, we've covered RJ Barrett, we've covered Burks today, Luca, Rose, Obi, a little bit of Randall. I'm gonna tell you, Knicks fans, I think the next one, you don't want to miss the next one. Don't want to miss the next one because the players we're gonna cover is
gonna be a good one, man. It's gonna be a good one.
CP knows why I'm saying that. It's gonna be a war in the chat.
Definitely gonna be a good one, man. And so make sure you don't miss it. We'll figure out when we're gonna schedule it. Maybe Sunday or maybe next week. Kind of trying to factor in Labor Day weekend and when people will be around. But we'll just be on the lookout for that, and we'll keep you guys posted. Chip, go ahead and sign out, bro.
Sure. CP, thanks again for having me on. This was great, man. Always great to come on and talk with you guys. JD, Alex, I love doing this. Just like JD and Alex said, just follow Knicks Fan TV. Follow all the great writers we have on there. And I'm on Twitter at ChipMurphy7. I'm on there. Follow if you want to find anything by me. Follow me there.
Yes, sir. Great job as usual, fellas. And salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's get that let's get those likes up before we sign out of here. Once again, this show is presented by Manscaped, fellas. Go to manscaped.com, enter promo code KFTV. The promo code has changed, but the products still remain the same. The Lawnmower 4.0, the Ferrari of ball trimmers. Go there and get it. My guy CP, the artist, just sent me his screenshot that he just bought it. No testimonials. He just let me know that he bought it. So shout out CP the artist for supporting the wave. As you guys know, this show will be available in audio podcast format shortly. You can go to KnicksFanTV.com and click on the podcast links and also the relevant post to your podcast platform of choice. I'm talking to Ariel Awani right now. We're trying to get him on the show. We will most likely be doing a show tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. He's a busy guy, man. My guy Ariel, he's all over the fight game, all over the MMA game. So we're trying to work something out right now to get him on the show. So if we do it live, look out for it, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Special show, Ariel Awani coming to Knicks Fan TV. And yeah, man, that's the story. Great show as usual. King Matthew sends one more super chat going at Jay from Florida. He says, LMAO, get the losing BS out of your head or be a Magic fan since you live in Florida, Jay. And he adds 2 tomatoes to boot. Then he says, number 2, Randall is going to be working all season to get better. Charles from Maryland is a 5-star caller. Speak your facts. Salute to King Matthews, man. Definitely appreciate the super chats. And like I said, Ariel Awani tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., man. So if you guys can make it live, be sure to tune in.